good afternoon to you. Welcome to Xandermonium, the talk show that gets you talking. I'm Xander Gibb, and on today's show, I will be breaking down this week's hotter topics with my guest co-host, a broadcaster, health and fitness, Donna Raman, and in part two, I'll be laying it all out on the table from comedy to Ebola and everything in between with comedian Will Noonan. More to come in a mere moment. So as per usual, you can interact with us during the show in the chat room at the bottom of the page. If you keep scrolling down, it will take you to the chat section. Now, if it's not letting you comment, you need to actually sign up with Blog Talk to be able to interact in the chat room. You can do that with Facebook or Twitter. Just go along with it. It doesn't send you lots of crazy emails or anything like that, or naked pictures of the Queen of England. So just sign up for that, and it will let you join in with the chat. You can also call us with your questions, or to start topics, or to talk about anything, really, anything that's reasonably worth talking about, on 347-884-9061. That's 347-884-9061. Or you can even tweet us. Yes, we have all of the mod cons here. You can tweet me at Xander Gibb. My Twitter handle is at Xander Gibb, Xandergibb. That's Xandergibb, capital X, capital G. You can also tweet Donna. Donna's Twitter handle is at DonnaDrama1. That's DonnaDrama and the number 1. Will's Twitter handle is at Will Noonan, WILNOONAN. Tweet me if you're too shy, and I will endeavor to make your point for you. Hi to everybody in the chat. Hi to Austin. If you're just listening, come join us. Come have your say. Come talk in the chat room. Come say hello. So this week was interesting for me on many levels, least of all, given the fact that we're all going to die of Ebola. Yes, you heard it here first. It reminded me of several other issues in the past few years when we were all going to die of one other of the dreaded lurgies out there. For instance, mad cow disease, swine flu, that was Freudian, bird flu, and Asian flu, and even foot and mouth disease. Now, admittedly, some people did die of those things, but how many people can you actually name that died of one of the things listed in the group of things that I just mentioned? But where all of this listed as being part of an epidemic propensity. Now, I am sure Ebola is no walk in the park, and there certainly is not enough vaccine, according to the health department reps. But is it something to be concerned about, or just another fear-mongering machine for the masses? Now, one rule of thumb I often use to decipher whether something is neurotic or not, because I'm sorry to inform you out there, I can give you a little bit neurotic from time to time. Yes, Xander Gibb can be neurotic, or even unrealistic, is to ask myself this question: what is the likelihood of something actually happening? Now, I'll give you an example. When I lived in the city, I lived in a first-floor apartment, and I used to sleep with the windows open in the summer. And just as I was falling asleep, I would often think, oh, my God, what if someone comes into my apartment while I'm sleeping? Now, I'd lived there for several summers, and to be honest, it had never happened, so it was unlikely that it ever would. Now, sometimes the detriment of any potential threat is, moreover, the fear and uncertainty that it brings to us than any actuality that may occur. Now, yes, we should all be careful and ensure to seek medical assistance if we have concerns, but seriously, has a mad cow disease ever affected moo? In other words, in other news even, my quest for fitness is going well, and I've been swimming several times this week. Yes, somebody called the animal rights people to drag me back into the ocean, but thankfully that did not occur. And I'm starting a cleanse tomorrow, or actually it's a pre-cleanse, and I will let you know next week how it went and if I have survived. So please remember our brother, Sergeant Andrew Tamarisi, who is still in jail in Mexico, and as yet this administration has not intervened to bring our Marine home. Now, this young man has served his country twice, 2 times, and we do owe him and all veterans far more than they are getting. So come on, Baz, pull your damn finger out and make that call. If you would like to give a donation to help with Sergeant Andrew Tamarisi's legal fees, you can go to my website and there's a link on the home page. You just click on that and it will let you donate. Whatever you can donate, $5, $2, $1, whatever you can give will be greatly appreciated. But the other thing that you can give that doesn't actually cost anything at all is your prayers. So please make sure you remember this young man in your prayers and send him all your positive thoughts, remembering that he is indeed suffering from PTSD and he should actually be in a VA hospital now receiving help, but he's not. He's stuck in a Mexican jail. So make sure you reach out, say your prayers for him, and donate whatever money you can. And also, lobby your senator. Get onto Twitter right now and tweet President Obama and tell him to free our Marine. Tell him to get his ass off the golf course and in front of a phone and tell the Mexican government to send this young man home, or we'll send in the special forces. You know, one thing that I've written extensively about this, and one thing that I know for a fact affects changes with other countries. On the scale of the size of country that the United States is, we could actually just turn around and say we will not trade with Mexico again, or give them any financial aid, or take their orphans that they just ferry across the border on buses until they free our Marine. But that's not occurred. Why has that not occurred? Anyway, little rant over. I do think it's imperative to make sure that this is really an act of war, and I think that as a country we should respond to it accordingly. If you are detaining American citizens unfairly, then we need to address that issue urgently. Now, I would like to dedicate today's show to a gentleman who died yesterday called DJ Ford. Many of you, of the listeners, know DJ. He's a very good friend of Dr. Gina Loudon's, too. He left us yesterday and was repatriated with our Lord. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. May he rest in peace and rise in glory. That was Xander's Soapbox for this week. Yes, a very mixed bag. So if you'd like to come on and get on your soapbox to talk about any subject, you please, as long as it's not transcendental meditation, email me at Xander@XanderGibb.com. That's Xander at XanderGibb.com. Oh, yes, indeed. Just take a quick look at the chat room. And let's take a look. Yes, my guest is here and ready to rock. So joining me to break down the hotter topics this week, the issues that matter, is a broadcaster and health and fitness doyenne, the one, the only, Miss Donna Raman. Welcome to the show, Donna. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Apart from the fact that it's a bit cold, the temperature dropped a bit last night, and it stayed like in the 50s. So I got my thermal long johns on today. I know it's not actually that bad, but we've been used to kind of temperatures that have been, not bad, for October, and then when it does drop, we're like, what happened? I am anyway. I don't know about you. I think we had a good summer. We had an extended summer a little bit, not an Indian summer, but it really was a good one. So when it starts to get a bit cold, it it really smarts, I think. But that's just me. Tell us a bit about you. What have you been doing? I know you're also. I don't know if you heard the intro, but I'm just on the brink of my health and fitness journey, and I'm just about to do a cleanse, and I'm working with a nutritionist. You're heavily into health and fitness, and you're really kind of tell us a bit about that, so I don't undersell what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. I'm on a superfood nutritional cleansing system. It's called Isogenics, and it just detoxes you and replenishes your body with nutrients and makes you crave food. And I've been doing great. I've been on it for about 5 months now, and so I was 20 pounds a few weeks ago. I'm down 25 pounds now, and I'm feeling great. I got energy, and it's fabulous. I love it.
So what are you actually following a particular plan? Are you working with a particular company? What is it?
Yeah, the company is called Isogenics, and
right.
It's pretty much is laid out for you. You take the vitamins in the morning, and then a shake, and then a snack, and then a shake, and then a snack, and then a 600-calorie dinner, and it's
right.
Working great. I mean, it's nothing, like where you don't have to, buy their food. You eat all of your food, but you just incorporate their shakes, and the shakes are all filled with nutrients. So,
I think there's a lot of things. Yours sounds something similar. What I'm gonna do. The thing I'm doing, starting with this week as from tomorrow, is called a pre-cleanse, and then I go on to something called a paleo cleanse. Because obviously, part of the problem when you are overweight, whether you're a few pounds overweight or a lot overweight like myself, is that the toxins build up in your body. And I think that that's one thing that we don't address, because then we try to lose weight, and you've still got all that toxin build up in your body, and you really do need to cleanse your body of all that toxicity before
because we all have visceral. I
start.
learned a lot from this, and we all have visceral fat cells. And what the Isogenics program does for me and everyone else who's on it is and the visceral fat cells are what protects your organs. So there's no cleansing and detoxing your body until you detox those cells first. And the more cells you detox, the quicker it gets to your organs, and then it maintains it so that, if you're not detoxing your visceral fat cells, then they just grow and grow and grow, which makes you fatter and fatter and fatter. So you got to get them out and then get to the root, which is your organs, and then cleanses that, and then you feel great.
Absolutely. I started with exercise, and I think that anybody that's we should really put it out there. Anybody that's considering doing anything like this, you should actually go see your doctor. But I think most doctors are cool with people doing things like this, as long as it's not like just eat half an apple per day for 6 months kind of crazy diet.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I do think that it's good for everybody. I started kind of exercising again last week, and I haven't done a lot of exercise for a long time, but I'm already beginning to feel better. And there is a little bit, I don't know if you feel this with you, but there is a bit of an addictive cycle with this, because when you start to see the changes, you really want more. You want to feel better. You want to keep feeling better and better. I wanted to say betterer than, but you know what I'm saying. Did you feel like that too, or do you think that that's an anomaly, as it were?
No, I think in the beginning, it always, for this program, it gets worse before it gets better. The detox process, you can get nauseous and dizzy and cold sensitivity, because the detoxing, you're getting all those toxins out. But once they're out and you feel great, it's like, oh my God, I want more of this. I can't get enough of it. I feel great. I want to lose all the weight I can,
Right. So do you?
So it's not an instant relief, in other words.
No. But I think that I've actually thought about this a lot, because I am obese, and obviously that's a medical definition, not like an insulting thing. And the thing for me is that with all of this, I've seen that all of this is very circular, because as a nation we're not very healthy, and I actually think that it's actually cheaper to go out there. Like I could go spend $100 every week and just buy junk, burgers, stuff to fry up and things like that. And I think if the government got involved in this a little bit more and made it cheap to buy the healthier stuff, then this country would turn around, because in 10 years' time we would have a healthier nation, people that are not clinically obese and having these kinds of problems. Therefore, the country would have to spend less money because it's normally lower income families that are having to eat the junk. Because I don't drink and I don't smoke, but I do. I like my food, and wherever possible I buy organic stuff and I buy good quality food. But not everyone can afford to do that. If you have 5 kids to feed and all you can feed them is fish sticks, what are you going to feed them? That's what you're going to feed them, isn't it?
It's true. It's easy and yeah.
Exactly, and all the processed stuff really just, I don't know. I think it. I think it's money is a big part of all of this, in several terms. Not just from the point of view from what people can afford to spend on food, but also from, obviously this is about companies being able to make money, because 25 years ago we didn't have, everything wasn't over processed. If you bought peas or vegetables in a can, they were a bit preserved, but they weren't like it is now. Most food would survive nuclear fallout, and that's kind of scary, because you're putting all that crap into your body. But I don't want to kind of like be a preacher about this. I think that you probably have to take a step back sometimes as well. But I think the more you find out about it, the more you actually want people to know. But there is another element to it for me, that is, if someone of my size can get on and actually do this, because there's a mental aspect to it too, then I want America to know this too, because essentially there are other Xander Gibbs out there who think that they can't do it either.
No,
and it's a bloody hard slog.
It comes down to either you want it or you don't. It comes down to one or the other.
You're absolutely right.
And if you want it, then you do what you need to do to get it, and if you don't, then you do nothing. And my very best friend with the same program that she got me hooked on, she lost 100 pounds in a year and a half, 100 pounds.
Wow.
So, and she's, an inspiration to a lot of women within the company. She has a lot of fans. She's, almost like celebrity status in Isogenics because of all the weight that she lost.
Right.
And she wanted it, and she has a son, and, it was really about being there for him and living a long life to raise him, and that's what it came down to for her, and that's what her drive was, and she's doing great,
And all of the other things are just byproducts, aren't they? Like looking better and feeling better. But for me, it's that. You see, I've just run out of excuses. I have no more excuses not to go and exercise, and I have no.
Well, good for you. I hope that you succeed. It's and if you ever want some tips or help, always call me. I know a lot about as far as I don't really, not the fitness part of it, but as far as like the the organic foods and like the science behind all the detoxing and stuff. So I'd be happy to, get you some info if you'd ever be.
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're already on something, but I know a lot about the health stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you. As I said, I'm working with a nutritionalist, and I don't know if you found this too, but everyone's got their own ideology why you're overweight and what you should do and what you should stop eating. And to be honest, I've tried everything, and this for me, this is a way that's clearly going to work. And I think with the greatest of respect to you, I think that the world and his wife has an ideology. I've even had people say to me, why don't you go and get your glands looked at and all this? The simple fact for most people why they're overweight is because over a period of time they've eaten too much and not got enough exercise. It's actually really a simple factor. Not that you're a big bonehead or you've got trouble with your glands. Some people, that is the reason, I know. But it's I just think for me it's time now to do it. I just want to do it for me now, and for me that's what it really has to be.
That's great. That's great. I wish you the best of luck. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's I don't know, it's imperative. It's an imperative now. Just for all the things that are going on in my life, I have to do it. To be able to do the things that I want to do,
That's how
I really
it was for
have
me,
to.
you know. I was on my way to getting heavier and heavier, and I was like, I got to stop. And it's like I wanted it bad enough, you know, and I made up excuses and tried everything, and finally something just switched in me, and I'm like, this is like do or die, you know.
Exactly. So let's have a little look at some of the news. I was saying nude there. Some of the news items that we've picked out for this week. So I don't know if you've heard, but it's rumored that Jenna Malone of Stepmom and Hunger Games fame has been fingered to play the role of Robin in the upcoming Batman versus Superman movie. An extra from the film said apparently it will feature a female Robin for the first time, which has provoked much controversy. Variety notes that Malone has been seen on the WB set and at the recent movie premiere sporting a new red hairdo. And according to The Hollywood Reporter, Malone definitely is in the film playing a mystery role. Now, Batman vs. Superman doesn't come out until March of 2016, so there will likely be plenty more alleged and reported casting rumors before Malone's part can be confirmed. Now, I have to say, I have to make the statement that there is absolutely no truth in the rumor that Xander Gibb will be playing Superman, but either way, whispers abound about a girl possibly playing Robin, a role that's usually cast for a guy. Now, the first thing, tell me your first response to this, Donna, and tell me about what you think about a woman playing this role, which has been traditionally a male role.
Yeah, you know what? This is what it comes down to. It's something different, and it's change, and people don't like change, and they're like, what?
Right.
It won't be the same. The whole theme it's always been a male. So what? So it's a female this time. I think it'll be great. I think it'll get a lot of hype. I think, it's not good. I think it'll be good. I think it's a great idea, actually, to switch it up. It's going to make people want to see it. They're doing the right thing.
Definitely. Because it's new and it's different, isn't it? I really hate that as a nation we allow ourselves to be typecast. Like, this role can never only be black, or this role can never only be white. Do you remember,
yeah.
I don't know if it was this year or last year, when, I can't remember her name, it'll come to me. She was in Private Practice, and she's a black lady, and she played in The Sound of Music on the TV version, the musical thing. Her name will come to me. Audra McDonald. People were saying she shouldn't be playing that. How often have you seen a black nun? Well, never seen Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, in Sister Act. I just hate that what we do is we limit, not you and I generally, but people in general, they limit, possibilities. Because why shouldn't a black person play that role? Why shouldn't a woman play the role of Robin? Robin is a name that can be male or female.
Exactly.
So why shouldn't it be?
Yeah, who cares? It's a movie. It's for entertainment. It's not, people take themselves too seriously.
Exactly. So why do you think that Hollywood has decided to do this, to have a woman play Robin this time?
I think to switch it up, because you know what? It's going to make me want to see it. Thinking, there's just going to be different. I wonder what it's going to be like having a female play that role, and I don't know. I think it's they're like leaking that out on purpose so that there's going to be this hype build up, and when it does come out, people are going to want to go see it. That's what I think.
Austin saying in the chat room that this generation has torn the fabric of the norm apart. Thank God. And I have to agree with that, because there's always this ideology is, well, that's how it's always been, so that's how it always should be. But why? Who says? especially with artistic endeavors like this.
Right.
And I think that it's like as a writer, people say to me, you can't write your characters this, you can't write your characters that. You have to have these boundaries. Why? It's art, and there shouldn't be any boundaries in art because otherwise, what you do is you limit the art form. Surely.
Yep. I agree. It's too safe that way. You got to switch it up and liven it up, and especially in the entertainment industry. And you got to get people to. There's got to be something about it that's going to be catchy and make people want to go see it.
Exactly, but I think as well there is an element of America. I mean, I'm all for taste, but like in England, there are certain words you can't say on TV, like the C word and things like that. And here, you can't even give someone the finger on the screen. I'm learning all these things with doing a TV show. But this has always been my ideology. That's fine if you don't want to see that. You switch it off. But why, if people want to see it, why shouldn't they be able to see it and hear it? It's for me that what we have to get away from doing is limiting other people. Because surely if I want to listen to a show that has the word fuck in it, I should be able to do that.
Yes.
Is this still America? We're so limited. There was a woman in the 70s and 80s in England called Mary Whitehouse. We have become that way, and of course, things that are made for children, and people under the age of 16, things should be a bit cleaner. But I think most 14-year-olds could tell you the full gen behind anything that you would wish to ask them. Even probably more than you and I. Some of them. What do you think it is about society that wants us to put limitations on the rights of others, whatever that might be?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's a control thing. I don't know. I think it's just like set in their ways. If people are set in their ways and they don't want to, they want to keep it safe.
Right.
It's not switch it up and not, like I said, nobody that I know likes change.
No. I mean, I don't. With some things I do, but with other things I don't. And I think that it's kind of like it's relative, isn't it? The amount of change that you're willing to, even with when they change actors over or change the way a series is, it can put us right off. I used to watch Grey's Anatomy, and the last series, not the current series, but the last series, I just stopped enjoying it. I mean, I watched an episode recently, and it was kind of back to how it used to be. So I started watching it again, but I think that we are a bit fickle. But you see, I would never say, I don't want Grey's Anatomy to be made anymore because it's not how I want it to be. Because I can't set my limitations for anybody else, surely.
Yeah.
I can only... Go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think that we should allow other people to do and watch and feel what they want to do, watch and feel, no matter how impure or wrong or whatever we feel that it is, because it's about freedom of choice, surely.
I agree. I'm with you.
Absolutely. So, will you be going to see the film?
Probably
is it your
not.
Cup of tea? Yeah, me either. But I wouldn't not go and see it just because a woman is playing Raman. I remember a few years ago there was a movie out called The Last Temptation of Christ, and all the Catholics were up in arms, and lots of Christians about it because, it depicted things that were believed about Jesus, but not actually scriptural, and so so lots of people said that they weren't gonna go watch it, but I went to watch it. I was invited to a premiere to watch, and I thought it was quite a good movie. It was an artistic, it was like a different take on the life of Jesus. But you see, obviously, if something disagrees with us, we have to hate on it. Where's the ideology come in? Can't we agree to disagree? Can't we like different things? Surely.
Yeah, that's what makes the world go around. Diversity, I mean, people. I don't know. People just need to keep their mouths shut and not take things so seriously. It's a movie,
Exactly.
For me, there's bigger fish to fry in the world than worrying about a movie, and I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I certainly think some people that want to impose these limitations, I often wonder why, but I do think it's a control thing. But surely we have to get out of this headspace where everybody has to agree with us or has to like the same things that we like, or they're wrong or odd or weird or stupid. I think that's been like that. Do you think that's in the last 10 years or the last 20 years that people have kind of like been doing that kind of thing, or do you think it's always been there?
I think more like past 10 years. I think more recent.
Right.
I mean, it's always been that way to a point, but sometimes it gets out of control.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that we really just have to stop taking things so darn seriously, because who cares whether the character of Robin is played by a man or a woman?
Exactly.
People didn't like People complained about Supergirl. You can't have Supergirl. Superman is a man. But you can't. If he's a Superman, surely you can have a niece or a cousin that's female. Or I just think people are far too serious nowadays.
Yeah, it's too serious.
Exactly. Now, one thing that's been taken serious recently by some people, and some would say too seriously, is the Ebola virus. And it's official. El Prez, Baz the Bodger, is about to elect an Ebola czar. That made me laugh when I read that, first of all. An Ebola czar. In the efforts to lead the U.S. is response to the disease. Now, Obama conceded on Thursday it may be appropriate to designate a single individual to head up the administration effort. He also said he is not philosophically opposed to a travel ban from the Ebola-afflicted region of West Africa, if that is the thing that is going to keep the American people safe. But that could be counterproductive and increase the incidence of travel of those infected. Now, the U.S. is committed to send up to 4,000 military personnel to West Africa to provide logistics and humanitarian assistance and help build treatment units to confront the rapidly spreading and deadly virus. Obama canceled a Thursday campaign, no, not a golf game, it was a campaign, to stay at the White House and focus on Ebola. It was the second day in a row he'd nixed a planned trip because of the outbreak. Now, this week, Donna, with my TV show, we went out onto the streets to ask people what they thought about Ebola and whether they were afraid of it. Tell me first of all, what do you think about the virus, and are you afraid of it?
I'm sorry, say that again. What am I afraid of? Is that what you said, or people are afraid?
No. What do you think about the Ebola virus? As in, is it a big fuss about nothing, or is it something we should be concerned about? And are you personally afraid of it?
I'm not personally afraid of it, but I do think that it's something that we should be aware of and concerned about.
Right.
But who knows where it's going to go or what's going to happen with it. Just people need to be aware of it and know not to be around it or someone with it,
Right. I mean, I do definitely think we need to be more aware about it. But I said at the foot of the show, all of these all of these incidences of things that we were told we were going to die of in the past few years, like mad cow disease, Asian flu, swine flu, bird flu. We were told that all of those things were going to be of epidemic proportions, and I don't know what we actually did to prepare for them, but none of them killed us. How many people do you know died of any of those things, Donna? Do you know anyone that died of swine flu, bird flu, mad cow disease, foot and mouth disease, all of these things that they said would be epidemics? Do you know anybody that even had those things?
No, I don't. But with that being said, who's to say that the next virus that comes out, I won't know somebody? You don't know. They're all different.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, I'm all for caution. I'm all for being educated, but what I want people to do is find a happy balance, a medium, if you will, within the ranges of, scaremongering and actually just being prepared. Because I do think that with some of these things, that there is an element of scaremongering. I mean, how many people? I think only one person in the United States has died of Ebola so far. And, I mean, let's talk a little bit about what kind of precautions do you think that we should be taking as a country? I mean, some people have said that we should suspend all flights to West Africa indefinitely. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's a bad idea. My opinion is why, be around that if we can prevent it. I don't know.
Right, exactly.
I don't think I don't think it's a bad idea. I really don't.
Right.
Because you just don't never know.
Where should the screening, as it were, be done?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. How is that even possible?
Well, it is possible. What I'm saying is, should the screening be done in an airport before somebody is allowed to board a plane to the United States? Because everyone's going to have their own ideologies on. Every country is going to have their own rules, regulations, et cetera, about how it should be done. And I think that one way to counterbalance it would be to check people as they went on a plane. But apparently people are only contagious when they're symptomatic. You only kind of know that you've got it if you're symptomatic, apparently. But I think we need clearer. Information on the subject. But what do you think about sending 4,000 of our military personnel to deal with this, putting them at risk from the virus?
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
I don't like that. I think only that's an overkill. I think I really do.
Yeah, I mean, there must be people that are in Africa that can deal with this. They obviously have doctors there, and so I think that the American government should employ someone over there in order to be able to deal with this matter. But what I don't like as well, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this. Now, people are saying, every American citizen that's got Ebola should be brought back to America and treated. Why? Why should we have that potential of the virus being spread by bringing them back into the country?
That's what I mean. That's just foolish.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to please everybody, but surely the first ideology should be about making sure that we're all protected, shouldn't it?
Exactly. Exactly.
And part of that should be not letting people come over the border or through the airport that have been in those kind of. I mean, for a while anyway, not forever. I think they should stop people coming in without being screened. It's a vital thing, because otherwise what happens is, and not even from those places either, what if someone from the west coast of Africa has the Ebola virus, goes to France or to England, and then flies from England to America? We need to,
Yep.
as part of the process of at the immigration point, for people to be screened and tested for deadly diseases. Surely, because that is how epidemics start.
No, you're right, and that's what I mean. It's got definitely safety measures and precautions and screening is absolutely. I think that's very important.
Absolutely, I think it's an imperative. Now the political parties seem to be using this to score points right now, which kind of bothers me. The one side, like the Republicans, will say that Obama's not prepared enough. Obama's followers and Democrats will say, "Oh, well, this is just another thing for the Republicans to have a go at Obama about." Where does this all end? All this political strategizing over Ebola. Do you think?
Well, people are always going to have an opinion, and they're always going to, be haters, and I don't know. I love the saying, haters are going to hate, and it's just, so what? Let's just let the man do what he needs to do and run this country, and I don't know. I just think there's too many opinions, like we were talking about earlier. It's just who cares,
I would tend to agree, but I do feel that I come back to this happy balance thing about all of this. But even with regards to a vaccine, it takes months to actually make the vaccine, apparently. But we don't have enough vaccine, so surely they should be making that and have it in surplus just to be able to deal with any potential threat.
Wait, I don't know what you're saying, though. You're saying, money, or?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that they should be more prepared than they actually are, because they're not a state of preparedness for if there was an epidemic of Ebola or even a pandemic.
No, you're right. You're right, but I think along with that comes money. With them having to put all those efforts in for something that could be nothing. But you're right. It's kind of like 22,
Exactly. But who should pay it? Who should pay for it?
I guess, I don't know. I don't know.
You see, I think really that the government should cough up and actually pay for this, because for something like this that could potentially
in long term it could be
blow up in our faces. Surely it's better for the government to spend some money now,
right,
and prevent further loss of life. But I think they've kind of left it too late, because when these things,
right.
Surely a part of running the country. And I'm not saying this just to have a dig at Obama. He's not my favorite person, and I'm not, enamored with a lot of his decisions, etc. But I do think that it's the commander-in-chief's job. That apparently there is no Surgeon General right now who would really be coordinating this right now. There's no Surgeon General. So at least if they did have one, they could have been kind of anticipating. Because surely part of that job is to anticipate potential issues,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, be proactive about it. I agree.
Exactly. Or the concern is that, you don't do anything about it until it's, smacking you in the face. And prevent, we always should have a preventative ideology.
Yeah, I agree.
Rather than just, looking to deal with it if it happens. And there are strains of new viruses and stuff all the time. So surely, some governmental department should be dealing with this.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And when I'm right, I'm right, Donna. You know me. When I'm right, I'm right.
It's so funny.
Okay, so let's.
My boyfriend and I, we debate a lot. Not arguments. We just debate about things. And I can't tell you how many times a day I'm like, you're right. You're right.
I think debate. You see that this is the thing. I think debate is essential because for me, when I debate about stuff with people, you don't have to agree with me. You have to let me have my say. I want to absorb what you say, and you absorb what I say, and then we come to some conclusion. And that's surely what debate should be about. But some people are not capable of it, are they? They just want to. If you don't agree with them, you're absolutely wrong. You know, you're totally wrong. If you don't agree with me, you're wrong, and you're bad, and you're horrible, and I hate you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about debate. It shouldn't be an argument. It's just two people's opinions that are opposite, and it's about respecting the other person's opinion. You know.
Exactly. It
I'm
is.
sorry, I'm coming down with a cold or something. I'm like under the weather today. I'm not feeling 100%.
It's not Ebola, is it? You haven't got Ebola, have you, Donna?
Oh my God, I don't know. I hope not. I better research about that.
I'm sure it's not Ebola. Get some vitamin C in you. And when you're doing all this health and fitness and weight loss and stuff, you know, it starts to have an effect on your immune system too, I think. And whilst it's being strengthened, you know, it things still attack you, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, and it's funny because I haven't been sick since I started this, and I used to get sick all the time, and I think I know exactly why. I'm very run down. I just got a new job, and I'm working 40-plus hours a week, and I got a couple side gigs on the side. I'm doing tarot card readings now, angel tarot card readings, and you know, I got a lot going on, and I'm literally like, I don't stop.
Exactly. I think it's imperative. It's imperative to take time for you. I always find that, you know, I'm fine when I go to big groups of people because I don't know, people always want to shake my hand and meet me and things like that, which is great. You know, I don't have a problem with that, but I just feel you always get all their germs and they breathe on you. and I don't like shaking hands either. You know, I'm gonna have to start keeping a pack of Purell in my pocket. I really am, and just keep washing my hands on the site. You know, I'm not germophobic, but I'm convinced that every time I get sick, it's when I've been with big groups of people because, you know, you get like the germs congregate.
No, it makes total sense. And then you always got the one person that always like goes too far and like just meets you and will give you a big kiss on the cheek and sloppy and a big hug, and it's like, whoa, dude. I don't get that, but I'm saying I can imagine people that are famous, you know what I mean, must get like people, I've been dying to meet you, and like, I don't know, I don't like, I mean, handshakes are even, but I'll do what I have to.
I don't like it from the perspective is because not everyone is as clean as you or I, and not everyone washes their hands after they've been to the bathroom.
It's true.
You know. It's
true. Yeah.
I'm not. I was out with my sister a few weeks ago doing recording some stuff at a TV show, and I said I should wear gloves, and she's like, "Who do you think you are, the Queen Mother?" I'm like, "No, dear, I'm just the Queen." Right. Oh gosh. Exactly. So talking of queens, the Queen of Comedy, Joan Rivers, obviously died recently, and the NYC clinic where Joan underwent the procedures that led to her death could lose its federal accreditation in a matter of months, according to state authorities. New York State Health Department investigation into Yorkville endoscopy, and the investigation was routine, started the day after Rivers died and ended October 9th. And lapses were found in 4 categories required for accreditation. For required accreditation, got the wrong T in today, specifics to follow. Now, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the federal subsidiary of the Department of Health and Human Services, that certifies ambulatory surgery facilities noted that the clinic Yorkville Endoscopy LLC no longer meets the requirements for participation as a supplier of services in the Medicare program. Jones' cause of death was revealed, and their accreditation will be terminated January 7th unless the clinic can prove it has corrected the deficiencies according to the state health department. Now, Jones, a spokesperson for the clinic, has said the center remains open and will continue to collaborate with the accreditation and government regulatory agencies to ensure quality care. Joan Rivers died September 4th at the age of 81, just a few days after going into cardiac arrest at Yorkville Endoscopy, and the comedian died of low blood oxygen during a procedure to treat voice changes and acid reflux. And she'd been sedated with propofol, which is the same drug linked to Michael Jackson's death. Now, Melissa Rivers gave the following statement and said, "We continue to be saddened by our tragic loss and are grateful for the enormous outpouring of love and support from around the world, and we have no further comment at this time." So what's your initial reaction to this, Donna? Do you feel like they messed up? Do you feel there should be penalties, or do you feel this was something that was an inevitable issue?
I don't know. This is something you're probably not gonna. People just need to stop. Let the family. Who cares? It happened, and they'll figure it out, and it's not for the world to know anyway. Why does everyone have to know and be so involved in people's business? That's what I don't understand. I know you probably weren't expecting that answer, but that's just how I feel.
I don't know if I was or wasn't expecting the answer, but I think that in response to what you said, I think that a lot of people are like this with celebrities, that they feel an element of ownership, and I feel like people feel that they could have had more time from Joan because she had a lot more to give to us. And I know that no doctor intentionally does these things, but I do think it was, and I'm not medically trained, but I do think it was a silly thing to do to be giving propofol without, having on-call medical staff.
No,
if something happened.
I'm not saying that it wasn't, but to figure it out and to find out if, it's done. It happened. It's not going to take her. It's not going to get her back. I hate to sound harsh, but it's true. It's not. Sorry, my phone's beeping. It's not going to change anything. So no. I just feel like, why harp on it? It's not. Why,
You're right, and it's not going to change anything, but I think that if that doctor was negligent in any way, shape, or form, she shouldn't be able to do it to anybody else.
Oh, no, and I agree, and that's what I'm saying, but, but I'm talking about everyone being so wrapped up in it. The family will handle it, and the family, they'll deal with it, and, people's opinions about it aren't going to change what's going to happen. So just people need to shut up about it and just kind of let the family deal with it and give them their time and their space and rumors start. And, I don't know. I think that I used to be really wrapped up in all this stuff and get so worked up over it. But, I don't know. I just feel like, yes, the doctor absolutely should be, there should be consequences. Absolutely. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to sit here and get worked up about it when we can't change it, it's not up to us,
No, exactly. I kind of tend to see all points of this, and I think that people are bound to be a little concerned because she was a national icon. Love her or loathe her, she was an icon, and think, I don't know. I think people are just a little sad, really.
Well, yeah, of course they are. I mean, it is sad, But what I'm saying is to get so up, like we always gotta find something, It's like we can't just literally like that, When they say rest in peace, like just let her rest in peace and give her family the space, and they'll figure it out, whatever needs to be done.
Exactly. So we're coming to the end of our time together, Donna. Tell people.
And that's a wrap.
No. It's just time, and I have another guest coming on and stuff. It's not that I disagree with you. I totally see the point that you're making, but I think it kind of goes back to what we were discussing, like in the first segment regarding about letting people do and think and feel what they want to do. I think some people will want a mourner, and will want. I know people have called that endoscopy place and called them murderers and things like that. I think that's a bit silly. I mean, it's one thing to feel robbed, but to it's all about proportion for me.
It's true. You nailed it. Yep, you're right. Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people can't find that level of proportion, which is a concern. It really is.
Yeah.
But I think our thoughts should be with Melissa and River right now. We can't bring Joan back. I do think that they should be sure that they're not doing procedures at that place that are detrimental to people or could possibly be detrimental to people. But I do think that you're right. I mean, people should get on and get on with it now, really.
Yeah, get over it already and let's move on,
Exactly. Exactly. So tell people where they can find you, what you're doing, what you're offering. This is your spotlight moment, Donna.
All right. Well, I'm also offering angel tarot card readings. So it's called Donna's Angel Tarot Card Readings on Facebook, and I do over the phone or in person. I have a lot of reviews on my page, so people can see, what all the past readings I've done. I've always asked people to write reviews, a lot of great reviews, and I've been doing angel cards for about 10 years, but I just kind of started making it, part-time side thing. So anyway, so that's on Facebook, and The Highway to Health is on Facebook, and that's, to order if they're interested in the health stuff with Isogenics. That website is, I actually don't even remember what it is. It's Isogenics, www.donnaraman, RAMAN.isogenics.com.
And that's on your Facebook page too.
Yes, it's all on my Facebook. My Facebook page, The Highway to Health, is the health stuff, and then Donna's Angel/Tarot Card Readings is on Facebook. That's another page as well. Have you liked that page? I don't know if I should give you a reading.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it and film it. That would be good. Let's do it for the TV show sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that. Yeah.
It would definitely make a. Hey, don't go starting that rumor, girl. You said that before, and I had all these people ringing and were concerned. So what is this week hold for you, Donna? Are you're back to work tomorrow? I take it.
Yeah. What did you say? What am I doing? Is that what you said?
Yeah, what does this week hold for you?
Well, I just got a new job. I'm a personal assistant for a very wealthy businesswoman in Philadelphia, and I pretty much do everything under the sun for her, and I love it, and I'm going to be probably working about 45 hours this week, so I'm looking forward to it.
Wow. That's a short work week for me. I would love to work just 45 hours, but when you work for yourself, it's like you never ever stop. I need 5 more hours adding to each day, and I also need a personal assistant, and I need I don't know, what else do I need? I need a holiday in the Bahamas. If anyone's listening, if there are any travel companies out there that want to send me to the Bahamas, feel free to contact us.
Oh,
Contact
so
us
funny.
at Xander Gibb. Well, you just never know. A lot of people get freebies. You know, it's got to be there's got to be perks
You're right.
to what's going on. No, I'm joking, of course. I mean, I get very little. I get very little freebies. I love that phrase when celebrities go, "Do you know who I am?" I always want to say, "Why have you forgotten?"
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you know who I am? So there we have it. Donna Drama. Make sure you go check in on her on Facebook and Twitter. And if it's your cup of tea, make sure you check her out for an angel tarot card reading. You heard it here first. Xander Gibb is going to go and we're going to film a tarot card reading with Donna Raman, and we will endeavor to bring that to you on the TV show. So, Donna, thanks for joining us today, and we will endeavor to have you back on the show again very soon. You have a great week.
Thank you so much. You too. Take care.
All righty. Thanks a lot. Take care,
Bye-bye.
Donna. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
That was indeed Donna Raman. Make sure you go check her out on Facebook and Twitter. Check out her Highway to Health. And make sure you tell her that Xander Gibb sent you. She's also on Twitter. You can get her at Donna Drama 1. So make sure you go and check that out. So we're just waiting now for Will Noonan, the comedian, to call in. He should be with us anytime. So while we wait for Will, I'm just going to play you. Oh, I take that back. I was going to play you a song, but I'm not going to play you a song now. I'm going to introduce our next guest. So as I said, Will Noonan is my guest today, actor, comedian, writer, porn star, and his fans are referred to as Noon enthusiasts. And it's rumored he's hung like a horse, and unfortunately that horse is called My Little Pony. Now, rumors abound about contracts with MTV and the Comedy Channel, which is not surprising, as with all joking aside, he is extremely funny and talented and sexy. Did I say sexy? So without further ado, give it up for the one, the only, the comedian, Mr. Will Noonan. Hi, Will. Welcome
Hello.
back to the show, dude. How you doing?
Good. Hello. How are you, man?
I am good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm pretty good. You know.
You did 3 shows last night, I hear.
Yeah, man. It was crazy. I drove all over the state of Massachusetts, but it was coincidentally they were all like at good times. Like they were all like kind of an hour and a half apart from each other, so I could do it.
Wow. 10, 15 years ago, some nights on a Saturday I would do 2 shows, but I could never have done 3. And I had a driver. I used to have someone to take me to the gig. But there's definitely no freaking way.
I was wishing I had a driver last night, to be honest. I was thinking about that. I was like, this wouldn't be such because that was really the most stressful part, was just because I pretty much walked into every gig right as it was starting. So it was kind of like stressful getting to them all on time and stuff. But I did it.
Well done you. I think part of the problem is that when you're self-employed, you do have to do it all yourself. You set up the gig, you have to get yourself there, you have to make sure you're dressed right, you have to do your own makeup if you wear makeup, et cetera, et cetera. Wouldn't it be great just to have an assistant, someone to do all that shit, to do all the running around, to drive you to the destination? That for me, that would be perfect.
Oh my God. Yeah, I would love someone. I would love someone to just get my dates for me. I get all my show dates like myself pretty much, and that's like I spend as much time doing that as I do like writing or any other creative thing. So I would love it if someone just like got my dates. I need a manager. If anyone out there is looking to manage somebody, give me a call.
I might have an opening for you, Will.
Yeah.
So let's get this one out of the way. I've been hearing rumors about you, and not the usual rumors about you going both ways, but regarding MTV Comedy Central and a possible movie role. Do you care to elaborate on that, or is it just vicious rumors?
I can't comment on MTV. Comedy Central, I don't think anything's going on there with me, and I am maybe up for a couple small movie roles. That's true.
Right. And let's clear this up. They're not porn roles, are they, this time?
No, legitimate. I got in a little bit of trouble like a couple months back. I was almost in a Seth MacFarlane movie, and I talked about it on my podcast like while I was up for the part, and I got a little bit of like got in a little bit of trouble, so I got to watch myself what I say.
I totally get it. I don't talk about anything now until it's concrete. You know what? I've got a TV show now, and all the time where that was coming up, because you know probably more than I do that things can break off even like the day before, and so you know until things are cemented and I have a contract in my hand and like a check, I don't mention it because I kind of feel like it tempts fate a little too. Are you watching the chat right now, Will? It's a shame. You should.
No,
there's some funny
shit
going on in there. Oh, you're in your car, right?
I'm not driving. I'm parked. I'm looking at the ocean here, and I'm facing the Atlantic Ocean here in Boston, and just staring out. It looks nice.
Fabulous.
But what you were saying, I don't know. It's very true. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's a very hard industry, isn't it? And
yeah.
I mean, I've known you for quite a few years now, and obviously, you know, you and I have both kind of like been working at it for a long time, and things are starting to kind of like break through for us, like on a bigger scale than they ever have. But it's hard work. Did you ever feel like jacking it in and going back and working at Walmart, say?
You know, it's funny. I was kind of daydreaming about. Today I was kind of daydreaming about. I'm doing my first national TV spot on next Thursday. I'll be like on that Access Gotham show, and I'm like really excited about it. But it's just it's slightly stressful because it's live, and it's been like I've been getting ready for it for a couple weeks, and it's like a unique type of stress to be a performer because like a lot of people worry about their jobs. But, like, when you're a performer, if you screw up at work, you screw up in front of, like, a lot of people. So it's, like, it's embarrassing or whatever. So you can have, like, different types of stresses. So I was, like, driving and I was daydreaming. I was like, oh, man, it would be kind of cool to, like, just work in, like, a friggin' grocery store in Maine and just, like, enjoy nature and have, like, a calm life. But it's fun to think about that, but I think I would get bored in, like, 2 days. And I'd want to be back in a comedy club.
I think I would get fired. Never mind getting bored, because it never works out very well me working for someone else, because I always kind of think that I'm a bit cleverer than they are, and why should they be the boss, and why should they speak to me like the way that they do? So this is why I've been self-employed for 20 years, because I can't fire myself.
I'm the same way, and I hate that feeling of like when you work a job. One of those last jobs I had, like. I worked at this kiosk in a mall for a couple months, and it was like, couldn't believe that I had to sit there, Like, I was like, I can't believe I'm a grown man, and I have to sit in this chair and, like, take breaks when they tell me to and stuff. I just, I love the freedom of being a comedian.
Yeah, and I can't get up at 6. Even when I've got to go and do outside broadcasts and taping and stuff, I've got like 5 alarms set, and I have to get my sister to call me or something, because I don't like it. I write all night and I write till really late, and so I sleep till 10 or 11, because that's creative types. That's how it kind of works.
I've kind of like taught myself how to get up early, because sometimes I have to get up early in the morning to shoot or do radio or something like that. And like lately, I haven't had much of like a good schedule, so I just sort of like get sleep when I can get it. And I at first that was like really rough, but I've kind of gotten used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think even 10, 12 years ago when you were living in New York, I kind of think you were it was night stuff with them, wasn't it? It was like working till
Oh
4 a.m.
yeah.
I don't think that ever leaves you, really, do you? I think you're always in that kind of like, get to bed at 5 in the morning kind of
Yeah.
ideology, as it were.
I know. I still, even last night, I stayed up until about 5 in the morning. I just like that. I've just always been like that, and I think it runs in my family because I remember being a kid, my dad used to stay up late, like a lot. Like I'd come down and get a glass of water or something. He'd still be awake at 3 in the morning watching TV. We're just night people.
Absolutely. I think sometimes it is like a family trait kind of thing. So tell us about Levity Live. You're going to be there on the 22nd, and I'm hoping to come along and watch you and interview you. Can you get me on the guest list and phone numbers of all the gay waiters in advance?
I'll try. I don't know if I'm important enough to have a guest list. I can help you out with the gay waiters, but yeah, I'm gonna be there the 22nd, performing. Like I'm going on TV the next night, so I'm kind of practicing what I'm gonna do on TV. So it's kind of like a little bit of a rehearsal. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're filming for the Gotham comedy thing on the 23rd. You see, I know your schedule.
Yeah, you
better
know,
than you do right now.
I know. I go, but I keep myself one day at a time, man. Like a guy in AA or something. I just like to go one day at a time, or else I can get flustered.
I think it is hard when good things are happening. It's actually hard to adore. It's hard to kind of keep yourself grounded because even with the TV show and stuff now, people treat you differently the higher your star climbs, don't you find?
Yeah, especially what's happened to me that's been weird to get used to is like I've just been in stand-up now 8 years, and I'm not one of the new guys anymore. I'm not one of the like open mic guys anymore. So it's weird to meet like a new comedian who's maybe like heard of me or seen me do comedy and like thinks I have like all the answers for him. Like I remember. Like, I have conversations with young comics now that, like, I had with older guys, and that always kind of is like, it's like a bittersweet pill to swallow.
Absolutely. Do you know the weirdest thing for me is next week is like the 4th episode of my TV show, and I get recognized in the street. It's just a local TV show, but when people point and they go, "Aren't you that guy off the TV?" Because you can't miss me, And so that's always kind of weird, but it's nice that they're not saying, "Look at that fat ass over there." They're saying it's the fat ass off the TV. So it's
I always really enjoy it. Like, I always really enjoy it. It happens to me so rarely that, like, I always really enjoy it. I think it would be fun. Like, sometimes I wonder what it would be like to be, like, a really famous person because like, I'm sure there's days, like, where you're stressed out or something and it would freak you out. Like, there was this one time I was having, like, an anxiety attack in a bar. I was doing comedy, and it wasn't, like, a big deal. Sometimes if I feel, like, anxious, I'll just go outside and get, like, a breath of fresh air, and I'll be fine. So I felt a little bit, because sometimes crowds can, like, freak me out. I felt a little bit weird. So I went outside, and I'm in the middle of this, like, crazy kind of anxious moment, panic disorder moment, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, aren't you Noonan, the comedian? I've seen you, like, do a few things." And I immediately just, like, calmed down and started, like, I was just happy to talk to this guy, and everything was fine. But I was thinking of how funny that was, like, what if I was just, like, what if I was like, I'm having a panic attack right now, man. Do I look okay to you?
Yeah, exactly. So
would have been funny.
In preparation for today, I listened to your last podcast. Tell us about, hypothetically, say I got the name right this time, and why you've never had me on as a guest, and is the competition far too much for you?
Well, I don't really have that many guests. If you've noticed that, it's a very rare thing that I even have a guest. It's usually just me by myself.
Right.
And I even more rarely, do phone interviews. So usually, if I do interview someone, it's like another comedian that I'm working with. But hypothetically, it's kind of like, we'll have to have you on soon, of course. But hypothetically is like kind of just like a journal type podcast. I just kind of talk about. I usually start off talking about what I just did, what I'm about to do, and whatever is going on in my day or week. But then I kind of talk about the news. Sometimes I take questions and stuff. But it's just kind of like just like a little radio show done by me, basically.
And you get quite a lot of listens. Like you're quite high up on the iTunes listings, aren't you?
Yeah. I'd always like to be higher, but yeah, I like the like it's weird. My ratings.
Yeah, we know you always like to
down.
be higher, dude.
That is true as well. But yeah, the ratings go up and down, and they like. But I don't know. I definitely have like a dedicated, like ever growing dedicated fan base. I love the people who listen, and they're like starting to draw pictures and send them in. It's the best. Like that's the best part, you know. People
I love that.
Come onto the ship. Oh yeah.
I love all that kind of shit. This Asian girl who's an art student who lives in New York. She makes cartoon characters, and she made this cartoon character that was a 6-foot-tall cat in a suit called Xander Gibb, and I was just so flattered, you know.
Yeah, man.
That someone would even, take that.
Couple new enthusiasts have made things and mailed them to me at the comedy club, and then I get to the club and there's like some homemade thing. Like one girl, Mel Garcia, she made me like my initials out of like clay and like plaster. It was cool as hell.
Did you get the underwear I sent you? No.
I'm wearing it on my face right now. That's why my voice sounds muffled.
Fabulous. Pictures. So are you still involved / interested in wrestling?
I am. I'm still like kind of, it's like a hobby / not a hobby, because I ended up getting involved a little bit in some wrestling here in like the New England area. But yeah, it's definitely like kind of like my, if anything, it's like a little bit of an escape from comedy, which is funny because it's not that much different. But I just like, sometimes I get sick of comedy and I want to like just watch something kind of mindless and fun, and that's what I like about wrestling.
So have you seen this reality show with John Cena? How pussy whipped is John Cena or something it's called, I think.
Total Divas you're talking about, I assume.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's called, but I've seen clips of it, and he's like, he's like this big like powerhouse of a man, and there he is. He's got his girlfriend, who's all tits and tambourines in the front seat, saying,
Nikki.
"You can't do this, John. You should do as you told, John. You should do this, John." I'm like, oh God, thank God I'm gay.
Yeah, it's true. You're lucky. I don't know. I used to watch that show with my ex-girlfriend, but I don't watch it anymore. But I know that, like, the first season it was really funny when, like, he said something like, "I'll never get married again, so, like, just deal with that." Like, it's never coming. That ring is never coming. So, like, if you're expecting that, get out now. And I thought that was, like, really a bold move for reality TV.
I kind of think, I don't know, I think reality TV is just like it's such a what's the word? It's totally the opposite
scripted?
of what they're. Yeah. I don't think that it's kind of like just because the idea of reality TV was to just kind of like catch things that were happening. But now I'm sure it's all I know people that have had reality shows and it's all scripted. It's all kind of they know where they're going, they know what they're doing, and they want these things included, like must make sure you talk about this person or say this or buy this.
Oh, yeah.
But reality TV is just I don't know.
It's ironic. It's really like ironic and coincidental because the way that show Total Divas started out was it was like a documentary style show about pro wrestlers who exist in this kind of loosely scripted world of pro wrestling, and then you get then the show started to get popular, and they started just like kind of like scripting the show like the same exact way they script the wrestling, and tried to bring in like the feuds from wrestling into the show, and like kind of like morphed it into this like weird hybrid of reality and the wrestling show. Is really bizarre, and like I think it turned people off of it.
I've never watched a full episode. I've just seen like clips of it, or if I've had to switch it over and it's on, I watch for a second until I have to like either throw the TV out of the window or change the channel. But it's not my cup of tea. I mean, we do like with the TV show. I'm just working on like a video diary for the TV show, like a reality segment of the show. But I didn't want it to be rehearsed and scripted, and because I think that you can just see through all these things that are totally fake. I mean, cut to me. If they said, here's a reality show, Xander. I mean, obviously I'd take it, but it's not my not my chosen way of moving forward, as it were. But I'd take it. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of just. I mean, it's so funny. I mean, my entire time in show business has coincided with the reality era. It started right as I moved to New York. Like the year I moved to New York to begin acting, like Temptation Island in the first era of reality shows. Real ones. I mean, Real World was on and stuff like that, but like when it became a real popular thing was then, and then the actor strike happened and they really became popular. But like I remember in those days people would say, "Oh, I would never do one of those crappy shows. They're terrible, they're cheap, they ruin your career." But now they've just become the new kind of, they're almost like sitcoms or any other show that you would get, like, when I talk with companies and different things about deals, and that's always like one of the ideas. Like they speak about reality shows in the same breath as scripted shows,
I think it's just become too par for the course, I was offered, I got the chance to write one a few years ago, and I wrote it, and then the money dried up for it. But I don't know. I just think that surely it's like the lowest echelon of entertainment, but it's the one that makes you the money. It's scary.
I also I had an audition for a reality show, and they were like, just make stuff up. Like they told me that. They were like, just make stuff up, whatever's good. And I was like, wow, this is just such crap. But
I auditioned for Big Brother, and when I lived in the UK, and when you go in for the audition for Big Brother, they put you in. They're all like tents in a room, and it's pitch black, and then they put all these lights on like you're in front of the Gestapo. And they'd said to me before I went in, they said, as you're gay, if you build up the whole gay thing and just be this big fat fag, we would love that as a character for you. And I thought, but that's just so unrealistic for me. I mean, I am a big fat fag, but do you know what I mean? They wanted me to be something that I wasn't. So how real is reality when they're telling you what your character should be? And I didn't get it, I hasten to add, but I think it's probably good that I didn't, because I don't know where it would have led me, really, because the people I've known that have done reality shows that get a little bit of fame from that they're in relative obscurity right now, and they just, do the occasional thing where they're going to earn a few bucks.
I think it works well if it's a compliment to another thing. Like, if you have a music career and then the reality show is about you being a musician, if someone wanted to do a reality show about me being a comedian, I'd jump at that chance, you know what I mean? But if it were like me just in a house with some people, I don't know if I would really, I'd probably still do it at this stage of the game, but I wouldn't be excited about it.
Hey, believe me, I wouldn't. I would never kind of. The only thing I do rule out is doing anything where I have to take my clothes off. But I would even consider that if it was going to get me a little bit further up the entertainment ladder.
I think we had this conversation in the bar, and we were wondering if it would be around to stay years. You know what I mean? And obviously, it's here to stay. So you got to make friends with it. I feel like my podcast is kind of my podcast is like the reality show that goes with my act, you know what I mean? It's like if you like my comedy and you like me, my podcast is just kind of that's what it is. I talk about what happens with me,
So your comedy and stuff is a lot more observational than just telling jokes, isn't it? You're not like a guy walks into the bar and
No. I do try and do. My favorite type of comedy is observational comedy, but I kind of mix that in with if I do write a joke, I make it like a true story that happened to me,
Right. I think that a lot of comedy is theft, so I take a lot of stories and turn them differently and gay them up. And I have odd ideas, too, about life and the world, and so I write them down and then I put them into something and turn them into a meme or whatever. You just never know what you're kind of going to be able to do with it. But what advice would you give to people who are just starting out doing comedy will, because it's a long road and not everybody's going to get on to Comedy Central and stuff like that. Would you say that perseverance is the biggest key to this?
Well, I think the perseverance thing is kind of like built in, you know. That's like if you really want it, if you really care, if you want to be a comedian so bad. You know, like for me, it was always kind of like once I started doing stand-up, there were some really rough times, but it was always just like, well, this is what I have to do. I kind of like have no choice here. Like I love this thing. So if you're feeling that, that's a good sign. But I think the most important thing when you're starting out is to just do it repeatedly, almost to the point that you're getting bored, you know, like you want to be almost bored by being on stage. You're on stage so much. And then that's when you start to kind of get really good because you're comfortable up there and you're feeling it out and everything like that. So I always tell, and that's what everyone says, that's sort of the stock answer is get up on stage all the time, but people say it because it's so true. It's just a lot of people like to just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm a comedian, I wrote a joke, and then they only go on stage once or twice a week. It's like that's not going to cut it. You got to be up there every single night and multiple times a night.
Oh, totally.
And I've been doing it 8 years, and I still go out on the weeknights. I still try and do as many shows as I can in a night, you know.
I think there's one of the biggest elements of all of this is confidence, and I know for a fact that, you know, I mean, we just celebrated our 100th show last week, and it was your birthday too, wasn't it? Happy 45th, dude! Congratulations to you too.
Thank you.
But I think that to establish any kind of longevity in whatever you're doing, you have to be willing to improve. Because if you listen to my first show and then listen to the last show that I did, the difference is immeasurable. And I've always been able to communicate on all of these things, but the confidence that comes from keeping and doing it. I mean, I haven't done stand-up for 20 years, but I think that I would be able to do it again because I think people say, I hear comedians say, it's a bit like riding a bike, because if you're funny generally anyway, if you can if you can actually start to put it together, you know that you've got the basis of a show, surely.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's 100% like riding a bike though, because I know with myself, I get even if I think the longest I've gone in like years is maybe like 5 days or a week. I think there was a time like a couple years ago I had all this stuff going on. I didn't get up on stage for a week, and I did have a good set, but I felt like, you know, I never feel like I'm doing as good I never feel like I'm doing as well in comedy as when I'm doing shows all the time, and when I'm just getting up on stage all the time, and then that's always when I have the best sets. And you're naturally funny. You know, it'll come back to you, and it'll come eventually.
I think so too. I mean, it's been, you know, I've been offered some stand-up dates, but not took them because of, you know, time commitments and the other things that I'm doing. But are you one of these? Do you find that you're one of these people? Like when people say to me, "Oh, Xander, you're really funny," and I'm just being myself. It's not like I'm trying to make them laugh. But do you think you're funnier than you actually think you are? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, but that's funny that you say that, because lately, and this kind of goes with like the like getting more well known thing you were saying earlier. Like the more people know me like before the show, like they know more about me and they know like my laugh and everything like that. And I noticed like lately, like my fans have started to just laugh at like my laugh. If something makes me laugh on stage and I laugh at it and I let out, it's kind of like it's just like my regular laugh.
Right.
There'll be like this response, like I just told like a joke or something, you know? And I'm like, oh, that's weird. But I'm kind of like, oh, they probably listen to the podcast. I laugh a lot on there, and maybe they like it or something. But like that's something maybe that's funny about me that I didn't know that was funny, you know? But sometimes, sometimes people laugh at something I say, and I'm like, shit, I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was just
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think you're either funny or you're not, and if you are funny, you can build on that. But if you're not funny, you can't make it. You know, it's like if you're not a good singer, you can't make. I mean, you can improve the skill, but unless you're like a natural singer, you can't. You know. Now, one of the things I wanted to say to you is, go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say it's weird. It's hard to say, though, because I've seen guys be terrible at comedy for, like, a number of years and then have, like, a breakthrough and be good. So it's like,
right.
You know, like, some people some people come in great writers and terrible performers, and other people come in, they have no problem being on stage and talking, but they can't write a fucking joke. So it's like, it's like, I'd say it's a big commitment to become a comedian, because it's almost like 3 or 4 years before you even know if you have what it takes.
Right. Exactly.
Now,
so one thing I've always maintained, and we often talk about this on the show, is that your audience will find you and not the other way around. Do you agree with that statement?
I do agree with that. I mean, I've been shocked. I've been shocked about how I've been shocked at how much people, have responded to the podcast. I always thought it was good, and I always thought people would like it, but it's been great that people respond to it, that they like it, that they become like, I don't know. I've been a fan of like pop culture my whole life, and I've always been a fan of things, and I've written fan letters to celebrities and guys, comedians that I like.
Dude, stop fucking writing to me, will you, please? I'm getting sick of that.
I'm sorry, but I can't help myself. But when I get a letter like that from somebody, and it really like touches me, I'm like, oh wow, somebody, likes me the same way that I liked, Dane Cook or whoever I used to like when I was growing up. It's really cool.
Right. Exactly.
So like that stuff like really makes me happy, and it kind of just like, it makes me feel good. It makes me go like, oh, I am like, a relatable guy, and there are people out there who feel the same way about me, and like, and the fact that I don't have like thousands upon thousands of fans, but like the fact that I even have, like the hundreds of fans I have, like I'm like, hey, maybe that'll grow. At least like I have, there's a type of person out there who likes what I do.
You're absolutely right. And I think, there are so many people out there that kind of like bluff it and say, oh yes, I get 100 million listens to my podcast every week, when they actually get 4. For me to keep doing it, I have to feel like it's appreciated. And we went from really small numbers, just a few people listening. I mean, I would have been happy with 50 people listening to the show. But when it gets into the thousands, I'm like, shit. I'm actually making a difference. I'm actually having an effect. And it really does speak into your own life, doesn't it, I think?
Yeah, and I did a show recently that had 1,500 people, and it was like, I was thinking about that on stage. I was like, wow, this is like how many people listen to my fucking podcast. Like, when you actually see that many people in one place, you're like, oh my God, like, that's a lot of people.
It's
really
quite astounding. And when you when you put your videos, YouTube is kind of weird for numbers, because it gets to 301 and then you don't see anything for a couple of weeks because they assess the video or some shit like that. You don't get to see your full numbers, but like when I put episode 1 of the TV show on, within like a couple of hours it got to 301, and I was like, my God, it's not about it making you bigger than you are, but you're just like, it's great that people want to see it,
No, it's cool. I've actually, that's what's cool about the young comics. Like, sometimes I just get used to having, like, I'm lucky to have as many followers as I have, but sometimes I get sad that I don't have more. And then someone will be like, oh man, it's so cool, you have like 20,000 Vine followers you can like talk to at any time. And I'm like, what, that is really fucking cool. I should be happy about that.
Exactly. Yeah. You've kind of doubled me on Twitter. I mean, I find Twitter pretty fickle, and I'm more a Facebook person than Twitter.
Yeah.
But you've kind of.
I was going to say, I think it's changed, though. I don't think it's as easy to get followers as it used to be, and it's also, people aren't as active as they used to be. Like, people aren't quick to retweet or favorite anymore as they used to be.
No.
And they're definitely not as quick to follow as they used to be.
I mean, I've kind of stopped with, all of our kind of like peers, people that are doing similar things to us. I only follow and we retweet and do all that for the ones that do it for me now, because why the frick should I bother? I mean, it's hard anyway, unless if you have a team of assistants that you've got on top of it like 24/7. But we can't really afford that right now, can we? Wait, let me talk to my team. Let me get my team onto it for you.
I have no team. I started following my fans back. I used to not do it, and then like I realized how happy it made them. So I was like, oh fuck, if this makes you that happy, I'll do it. I don't care. Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I even have international fans from doing that bloody Killer Tranny movie that still contact me, and it's like I can't believe that that little short got me so much international attention, but it did, and people are enamored with it, and they love the character. Nothing else is ever going to be done with it, but I just think I don't know. I just think there, but for the grace of God, I'm grateful for whatever if you got a house plan and wants to follow me on Twitter, do it. That's me, really.
Ultimately, we're all just creative and we're all artists, and we just want people to see what we do, and that's kind of like what it all means and what it's all about. So we do need that validation. Like if you're a person out there and you're a fan of somebody, like write them a letter, tell them you like them. It really helps. It really helps the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What actually means more to me than fan letters, though, I suppose it's a little bit different with kind of like doing the radio show and stuff, but I love when I do a segment on something serious and someone will send me an email or tweet me or whatever and say, your show really helped me today. And to me, that's like, give me $200. Well maybe 125, but you know what I mean? It really does. Really does kind of speak to me. So we're coming to the end of our. Go on.
I was gonna say a lot of my new enthusiasts out there are like teenagers and they're in their teen years. Those are like really tough, shitty fucking years of their life. And
exactly.
And like I often get emails or like messages from them with like they just need help with their basic teenage shit. And I love being able to help them. I love being able to tell them like, listen, it's not as bad as you think. You're like, I know you think this is it, but it's going to be fine. And like that to me, like those are really like my favorite emails. They don't even have anything to do with comedy or me. They see me as a friend and or a big brother, and they wish to seek my advice on something. I always love that.
But have you had death threats? You haven't lived until you've had death threats. I've had death threats.
I had death threats when I did karaoke.
Wow. Yeah, I can believe that, especially in some of the bars we worked in. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we're so out of time. I could speak to you all day. Tell people where they can find you on social media and where your website is and how big your penis is.
WillNoonan.com. WillNoonan.com has all my links to all my social media. I'm on like everything. Real Will Noonan on Snapchat. I love Snapchat. And my penis is I'm going to use a new unit of measurement.
Yeah, it's bigger metric, isn't it?
75 strudels.
75 strudels. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, with that in mind, Will, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you'll come back and join us again sometime in the future. I hope I get to see you on the whatever it is, at Levity Live. Make sure you go follow Will Noonan right now and tell him that Xander sent you. But good luck with everything, dude. And when you are a big star, don't forget about the big fat asses like me who helped to get you there.
I won't. And dude, seriously, like, thank you for having me on. I always love coming on. It's an honor and a pleasure.
The pleasure works both ways. But thank you so much for coming on today, Will, and good luck with your career. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. Talk to you soon. Bye.
You too. Take care. Well, that was indeed comedian Will Noonan. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to Donna and Raman. Thanks to Will Noonan. And thanks to you for listening. We'll be back with you next week with Ty and with our guest, who I cannot remember who it is, but have a look on the website and you will see it. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for everyone in chat. Thanks to Austin, and I love you all. Bye-bye.